From the Langley Riders Arena in Langley, British Columbia, Rogers Community 4 presents coverage of the 1996 annual Team Cowboy Olympics. Stay with us for an exciting afternoon of rodeo action. Their tag, they get him out, 2 up, 2 down.
Drives to the basket, gets it to fall.
He needed that one. He only shot 1 for 9 in the first half. And we mentioned that
Erickson won't go down. The rebound is there, and it's in. It's a little bit of inside running room, gets away, still on his feet, and he's still going. He gets up to run. Oh, and there's a hard hit along the board that I got to win. And he gets a little bit of a hole and some running room. Good chance in front. Yeah, just bedlam at the Edgar Dome.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Team Cowboy Olympics. I'm Steve Erickson and joining us today in our broadcast location, Wendy Hendrickson. Wendy, first off, thanks for joining us for this beautiful event today.
It's a great day for it, isn't it?
It is. We lucked in about this weather. Just King Saul loves us. Tell us a little bit about the Team Olympics today that we're about to watch and how it got started briefly and what it's all about.
Well, the Cowboy Team Olympics here got started probably about 10 or 15 years ago. And we've got 15 teams today. And on each team we've got a cutter, which is a header and a heeler. And before this all started, we cutted the teams, which is just auctioning them off to the highest bidder. And we're probably going to start with the cutting. We'll have a cutter go, then we'll go into the roping and the cattle penning. And the team with the highest points is going to take all the money home.
You're going to come out the victor. Well, if
That's
you're
right.
confused about all the terminology that Wendy came out and said, we will explain it to you as the day does go on. But we're going to get downstairs right now. I think our sideline reporter, Elda Dunn's ready. Elda?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Like Wendy was saying, the weather came out really nice for us. It'll be a benefit for the ropers and everything because it won't be so dusty out there because we have had rain for the last few days and we are going to have a lot of fun out here. I am going to find some people to interview, and back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Ella. No doubt you'll find lots of people to interview her. They'll find her and they'll talk about this event here. Now, in case you're curious and you're wondering where this facility is located, it's located about walking distance from the Langley Civic Center at 208 and 42nd in beautiful Langley. And it's sort of situated somewhat in the valley and not far from the power lines. But you've been involved in this for a number of years now. Tell us about your involvement and how you got the luxury of having a day off to come up and join us.
Well, I've been cutting now for about 16, 17 years. And I've grown up around here in this area. So most of these people I know, the ropers and cutters and cattle penners. And spent a couple of years living up at Douglas Lake.
Okay, I think we're about ready to
So this has sort of been my life, and I love it. So I just decided that this would be a nice day off, and I was asked to do this, and it's going to be fun.
It is. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. And of course, this is what we call putting the country back into everybody, because everybody nowadays, they listen to all the different radio stations, JR, whatever one you want to be preference to. You listen to it. We were talking earlier on about the different type of music we had the luxury of listening to earlier. But cowboy industry, and it doesn't matter what you look at, whether you look at the horses or the different paraphernalia they sell, it's really growing. And this is one area that is a lot more people want to get involved with.
That's right, and it's a real family-oriented sport. You know, if you look around here, you'll see husbands and wives and children and grandmas, and it's a real family-oriented sport, which is definitely a bonus. You know, it's something the whole family can come out and enjoy and do together.
That's what they need more of nowadays.
That's
now,
right.
You talked about the family involvement. Is it possible, I guess when the riders are riding, the family can't really be involved in that aspect of it, unless the wives are going to be one of the
Exactly.
riders.
Yeah, there's a lot of wives and kids that ride and do this all together.
Now, we watched, there's several youngsters in the crowd, and they're sitting out here. And a good crowd on hand today coming out to take this event in. But we were talking earlier on, they were having what they called a Calcutta, and they were calling everybody to the center of the ring. Maybe for our viewers at home, as well as myself, because I had to ask, no different from everyone else, maybe you can explain what the Calcutta was all about.
That's right. We've got 15 teams, And what they do is they auction off each team to the highest bidder. So whoever buys that team, their name goes onto the board over on the other side of the arena, and they keep a track of all the points of each team member.
Okay, now, when you say someone comes out and bids on them, I didn't see people up here a la auction style, so how do they progress to that stage?
That's right. Everybody that was bidding on these teams were over on the other side of the arena. And Kenny Pearson, who is our auctioneer today, he was auctioning off these teams, and there was a lot of people standing down in the arena. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did.
And they were actually bidding on those teams.
Okay,
and,
I just figured it was pure mayhem for a little while out there.
No, that's what was going on. So
okay.
That's the cowboy terminology for auctioning off the teams, is Calcutta. And so anyway, everything is on the board over there, and they're going to keep tally of points. And then the team with the highest number of points is going to win. Whoever bought that team is going to make a fair bit of money today.
Oh, okay. Now, what type of money would we be looking at? Or should we tell about that? Because maybe we might want to save them $1 for the income tax.
That's right, that's right. Depending on what the teams go for, in the past year, some teams have gone for $500, $600, $700 a team.
Wow, that's just for a one-day event.
That's just for today. So there is some money to be made here.
Wow, you know, you were talking earlier on about the auctioneer. I should say right now, one of my favorite songs of all times is the one that's actually, it's ironically called The Auctioneer, the one that Leroy Van Dyke put out a number of years back.
Yeah.
And I just get, every time that song comes on, I love it. I just try and sing it, but I just absolutely, my mouth starts going the wrong way and I just cannot say it. But I love that song. That's really, you know, well done, and a lot of tribute, because we went to an auction the other night that took place out at the Northview Golf and Country Club charity event. And there was a young man out there that was doing the auctioneering, and I was just amazed, because
that's an art.
It is. It's a real art, and there's a school for that too.
That's right. Yeah.
And you know, that a lot of people. I mean, some people just talk fast, but there's a real art to that.
That's right.
Like that.
There is. If you look down in the arena.
Okay, we're looking at some cattle right now. Now, I don't think they're you know, going to go out and expect to be milked or anything today.
No.
So what are they going to do with these?
These are going to be the cutting cattle. So what they've done now is they've brought these into the arena, and they're going to do what's called settling the herd. The gentleman down there in front of the cattle right now, that's Bob Zernhilt, and he's from Kamloops. He is actually a cattle buyer, and he buys cattle all over Canada. He's one of the largest cattle buyers in Canada, and this man can tell you where a cow's going to go before the cow knows where he's going to go.
Is this man involved with the very famous cattle drive up in Kamloops?
No, he's not involved with the cattle drive, but he's a longtime member of the British Columbia Cutting Horse Association. And Bob and his wife, Mary Lynn Zernhilt, breed and raise cutting horses up on their ranch in Kamloops. And right now, Bob's settling the herd. What he's doing is he's getting these cattle used to a horse passing in front of them, so that when the cutter goes in to cut out a cow, these cattle are semi-used to seeing a horse near the herd.
Now, when you're talking about cutting out the cow, they basically go in and that separates one cow from the rest of the herd?
That's right. If you watch Bob right now, what he's doing is this is what the cutter's going to be doing, is driving his horse into that herd of cattle, and he's going to bring out one cow. This is called cutting out a cow. So these cattle need to be settled down a little bit so that they kind of get used to a horse moving around them, so that they're not quite so jumpy. This will take Bob probably 2 or 3 minutes. He'll work with these cattle and get them settled down, and then we're going to start the cutting.
There's a real art to this, because, you know, you watch the cattle. Let's face it, a lot of the cattle nowadays, they have a mind of their own.
That's
they
right.
just go where they want to. Now, to separate one, do they have the use of, for this, of the dogs that we saw, the
No.
blue murals later on?
No, when we start the cutting, what you're going to see is there's going to be a cutter and 2 turnback men, which are going to be out front, and 2 corner men, which are called herd holders, and they're going to be in the back 2 corners. The herd holders help keep the herd centered in the middle of the arena, up against the chutes there. And your 2 turnback men that are out front are going to actually keep that cow, once the cutter gets it cut out, they're going to keep that cow moving for the cutter. It's once you see it in action, it's a lot easier to understand.
Yeah, it is. It's quite the event. We've had the luxury of watching different events like this, going to the Calgary Stampede.
That's right.
Morris Stampede, Williams Lake Stampede.
Yeah.
Catching some of those over the last little while. And it's a real event, because these are, I won't say they're hand-picked cows, but they are chosen from certain other ones.
That's right. These look like they're going to be good cattle today. Usually yearlings, 2-year-olds are prime choice for cutting. You don't want any cattle that have been used for anything else because they get what's called sour, and they will either just not move at all for the cutter, or they get so used to a horse that they'll just run right through that horse.
And of course, the cutter wants a lot of action.
That's right. Yeah.
The more action, the more marks they get.
That's right.
Okay, now I noticed that when they're doing the separation, the cows are out there right now. The horses that are there with the riders, every time some of the cattle move, they'll actually move up just a couple of 2 or 3 inches a little bit.
Yeah, they're just trying to keep those cattle up against the back of the fence there because that's where we want them to stay when we're cutting them. So we want the herd to stay right in the middle of the arena. We don't like them to get too far up the arena here. Quite often, and I hope it doesn't happen today, 1 or 2 cows will get by the turnback men and they'll kind of go for a little jaunt down here to the other end of the arena. But that's not what we want to happen today. So having all these people across the arena on their horses is really helping to keep those cattle back here.
Now, is the cattle, could they easily be distracted by the noise factor from some of the people or just generally distracted?
They're not too bad. Once in a while you will see if something happens, it might kind of spook the herd a little bit. But generally, I mean, all the people up here in sitting down in the stands and whatnot, that's not going to bother the cattle at all.
Now, the way they're going through this right now, could they or have they done it in the past using buffalo instead of cattle?
It's funny you say that. There's actually some cutting horse trainers up in Vernon right now and Armstrong that are using buffalo rather than cattle. And I guess I haven't seen it personally myself, but I hear it's just wild.
Well, those buffalo are huge. I had the chance going back a number of years when I lived in Manitoba and Winnipeg. They had buffalo at the Assiniboine Zoo. And I mean, they're well maintained and taken care of by the zoo park attendants. But boy, those animals are massive. Now, we see the cowboys right now that we see on the screen, they're just what? Watching and
yeah, what we're looking
controlling
at
the herd?
right now, these are the ropers. Obviously, you can see that they've got their ropes on the saddles with them. And they're just sitting around right now, relaxing and watching what's going on. They will be up, I believe, after the cutting. And you'll see a lot of these cowboys, they just kind of keep their horses moving to keep them warmed up and limbered up. They're just like any other athlete. You can't go into this cold. You know, their muscles have to be warmed up. And it kind of gets their adrenaline going and gets them ready to compete.
Okay, let's talk about proper care of and grooming of the horse. How much is actually involved going into a competition and then also when you finish, because there's a proper way you have to cool your horses down?
That's right. These horses are very athletic. They need to be kept in top condition in order to be very competitive in this sport. The cutting horses especially exert so much energy and so much of the muscle that they use. They've got to be, usually you want to ride your cutting horse every day and work them on cattle as often as you can, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. They have to be kept in top condition, otherwise you're going to, just like any other athlete, you're going to have pulled muscles and injuries. So these horses are really well looked after, the roping horses as well, and the cattle penning horses.
Now, just watching Bob out here right now, the way he's doing it, do I detect that the brown cow in the center is the one that he's trying to separate from the rest of the herd?
Yeah, Bob's just checking out these cattle to see which ones are actually going to set up nice for a cutter. That the one that Bob's working with right now is going to be a good cow, I think. And you can kind of tell just by watching Bob move these cows around. You want a cow that's going to look at your horse, one that'll stop and look at you. If it just runs right on by you and doesn't even see that you were there, that's not the kind of cow you want to cut.
If I was on the horse, I'd want him to run by me. Yeah, this is quite the art form that he's going through right now to get it all itemized down.
There, now Bob's beginning to feel now that these cattle are just about ready. So what he's going to do now is push these cattle back against the chute. He might pass by them a few times, back and forth in front of the cows. And then he'll nod his head and say, yep, these cattle are ready to cut, and let's get going.
Wow, it sounds very, very simple when you say it so quick like that. Have you done this in the past?
Yes, I have. I've been cutting probably 16, 17 years. And you're right, the terminology, you forget that people that haven't been in cutting before, It's kind of got a language all of its own, and sometimes you forget that. And so if I say something and you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and stop me and I'll explain it.
Okay, now with the cutting, have you gone through all aspects of it as far as roping as well?
No, I haven't done any roping.
I guess the ultimate question is why not?
Well, roping is a whole other ball game, and it's just like any other sport. It takes a long time to get involved with it, and you really, to be good at it and to be very competitive, you've got to practice a lot.
Well, I watch them on some of the stations that I watch, and I watch the rodeo that comes from Mesquite, Texas.
Yeah.
And I'm just amazed how those cowboys come out and how, I guess, converse they are with their trade. They're good and they work hard at this.
That's
and
right.
nowadays, you can really make a good living at it.
Yes, you can. Yeah, there's a lot of money up in the roping, the cutting. But like I say, it's something that if you're going to be real serious about it, it's a full-time commitment.
Well, this is something that it could be very costly because not only do you have the horses to maintain, groom, the feed, you've got, we look across the track, we see the trailers, the trucks, the people behind the scenes. There's a lot involved for the actual maintenance of one of these.
Yes, and a lot of these people, you know, they just do this on the weekends. It's their hobby and they enjoy it. And it is, I guess, like any other sport, skiing, golfing, there's some money, you know, that you have to put out to get into it.
I was talking to a young man yesterday and told him we were coming out to do this event, and he basically alluded to the fact that coming out and doing this, because as you were saying, these are what they want to call the urban cowboy, and they want to come out, and of course that started with John Travolta a number of years back, but they got involved, and this is almost the same, no different from what we'll say motorcycle riders are.
Right.
Some of them, they go out, they ride their bikes on the weekend, they go different tours and all that, and these people come out, whether it's a motorcycle rider or a dragster out in Mission or wherever they might be. Everybody has their own certain niche that they like to do.
That's right. Actually, a lot of these cowboys that you'll see today really are cowboys. A lot of them are farriers, horseshoers, blacksmiths.
Now there's an art that's really losing its trade. The art of blacksmith.
Yeah, there's in the Fraser Valley here, there is a large number of blacksmiths and farriers. And there's quite a few here, 4 or 5 that I know of today that are competing today.
Well, I'll have to get the address of 1 or 2 of them because I would love to go out, and even if we had the chance to take a camera out and watch one of these people work, because that is a real art.
It really
to be able to perfect something like from start to finish. It's really unique. I know my grandfather used to do it a number of years back up in Northern. It's really quite neat. Now, we're watching, we had 2 just come out. Tell us about the 2 that just come out.
Okay, what they're doing now is these are the team members. Now, we've got 2 ropers and 2 cattle penners and a cutter, I believe, here. And what's going to happen is the cutter is going to go in, and they're 2.5 minutes. They're going to cut 2 or 3 cows. We've got ropers that are sitting down in the corner. Those are the herd holders. We're going to have 2 more people out front on their horses, and those are the turnback men. Now, this is the team. You're not allowed to choose who you want to be your turnback help or your corner help. You have to use your team members. So it could get interesting because some of these team members have never done this before. They've never been herd holders or turnback men. And it takes a long time to learn how to do that real well too. So it's going to even out the odds for every team.
So a person comes up, they get involved in an event like this, and they just sign up, and then they get picked into the teams, and they can come up, drive up from the States or from Chilliwack in with someone, and they could not be on that person's team.
That's right. All the teams are drawn out of a hat. The names are all put in, and they draw the names out, and that's who's going to be on your team.
That sounds like it could be a lot of fun.
It is. It is a lot of fun.
I guess the aspect of that is to develop a lot of camaraderie amongst each other and with each other. Okay, now, the area, just to jump in real quick, the area that they're using for the cattle, is that the only area they're going to use, or are they going to use the entire ring?
No, what we're watching right now is Patty McGrath. She's going into the herd. They have a timeline. Once Patty crosses that timeline, her time starts. She has 2.5 minutes. She's going to go in there and cut out probably 2 or 3 cows in this 2.5 minutes, ideally.
How do we know when she started?
There's a timeline down there. And if you see, there's a lady down there with a stopwatch. She's the timer. Once
on the chair down here?
That's right.
With the blue hat. Okay,
that's right.
Just to the bottom right of the screen. That's the timer down there.
So once Patty crosses that timeline, her time starts. Now, right now, she's cutting out her cow. She's allowed to handle her horse until she gets that cow separated from the herd. Now you'll see she's dropped her hand, and now it's up to the horse to keep that cow from getting back in the herd.
This is quite a well-trained horse to be able to control the cattle like this.
It takes a good 2 or 3 years to get these horses where they're really, really solid on a cow and really know what they're doing.
Okay, now there's a time frame. She let the one go back, so obviously
That's
she comes
right.
out and she'll do another one now?
Patty just quit the cow. Now she's going to go in and cut out another cow. She's trying to show the judge that that her horse can control the cow. You get marked from 60 to 80. 70 is an average score, so anything above 70 is a little above average. And of course, as in any sport, you get faults. If Patty loses a cow and it gets back into the herd, it's going to cost her 5 points. Now she can't drop her hand until we get this black cow out of the way.
Now you're talking about the hand that is holding the rein?
That's right. See, now she's dropped her hand down on the horse's neck, and the rest is up to the horse. Patty can't help the horse now. This happens to be my sister-in-law, by the way.
Ah, okay.
Patty's having a pretty good go here.
Now, was there a certain amount of time where she has to control this cow?
It's sort of up to your discretion. You want to work the cow long enough to show the judge that your horse can control the cow. You don't want to stay on it too long because that cow is going to get used to the horse and eventually get by the horse. It's going to get a little bit aggressive and want to get back to the herd.
Now, all the horses are shoed?
All the horses are shod.
Pardon me.
Shod, yeah. So there's
I know they're
Patty's
called horseshoes.
So we'll wait and see what the judge gives Patty for her run.
Thank you, Patty. Your next cutter in is
that was
sponsored
good.
by Pioneer
Very,
Country
very
Outfitters,
impressive.
and it'll be built, or Marion Supersia.
Okay, now the next one they were saying is Marion Supersia. What's the next one? Okay, now we're going to take, because she's your sister-in-law, we're going to take another little look at how the horse does all the work and controls it.
That's right. Now, if you'll watch, you'll see that Patty's reins are very loose, which is what you've got to do when you're cutting. You've got to show the judge that you're not helping your horse at all. If you do pick up your hand and help your horse, that's called reining, and you get, every time you do that, it's going to cost you a point. So you've got to leave your hand down on your horse's neck until you decide that you're going to quit that cow and go in and get another one.
You have to have an awful lot of confidence in your horse.
You do, yes, you do. And like I say, these horses are really well trained. It takes a good 2 or 3 years.
Look at the balance of the horse right there.
That's right.
I mean, like, talk about completely off
Patty's
balance.
score was a 72.
72 for Patty.
The cutter going into
72.
the herd now
That's a
is
good
Marion
score.
Supersia.
Our judge today for the cutting is Mary Lynn Zernhilt. And as I was saying earlier, she is the wife of Bob Zernhilt from Kamloops.
From Kamloops, the gentleman we watched earlier on.
That's right.
To the pickup truck in the middle of the arena,
Now.
please.
Okay, we've got our cutter, and she's just coming into the herd now. This is what's called making a deep cut. And you have to make one deep cut in your 2.5 minutes. You have to show the judge that you can take your horse into the herd. And your horse has to be quiet and manageable in the herd. You don't want your horse jumping or spooking the cattle. Biting is a definite no-no. If your horse bites the cattle, that's a big penalty.
You would think it would be.
Yes.
Why was he just waving off with his right arm?
Bob's just trying to get those cattle moving back to the back fence. As you
And
can,
cattle's they're going to listen to his hand or watch his
just
hand?
a little bit of movement will move these cattle. Once you really know how to read cattle and work with them, you can move them anywhere you want just by adjusting where you are with your horse. Now she's not quite clear of the herd yet. Now she is. You want that herd to be right behind you.
Now her hands are down. So from this point on, it's the work of the horse.
That's right. Now you can help. I shouldn't say the horse is totally on his own. You are allowed to help your horse with your legs and your feet. And to keep your horse moving or to move him off the cow or towards the cow, you can use your legs. Now she's quit that cow. She's going to go get another one.
Certain amount of time frame for any one particular animal, or?
No, as I say, it's up to the cutter's discretion. If you feel like you've gotten a good work out of that cow, then you'll quit and you'll go get another one. Okay, she just lost a cow.
Would that be a point loss?
That's going to cost her 5 points. That cow got back to the herd. That's called a loss. And so that will cost her 5 points for that.
How do they determine when you actually have the cows separated from the rest of the herd?
Once the judge can see that you've clearly driven that cow out away from the herd, and you've got that cow out by itself, and there's no other cattle around, once you drop your hand, you've told the judge, okay, I'm clear of the herd, and you've committed yourself to that cow. So her 2.5 minutes are up.
That's what the whistle was for.
That's what the whistle's for. So we'll
Now,
wait and see what score she gets.
We watched them, and they are right now trying to separate one cow from the rest of the herd. Do they have a competition where they have 2 or possibly 3 cattle to separate from the rest
Our
of the
next
herd?
team
And
is
have
sponsored
the
by
horse
the
control
That's
those?
what we're going to be seeing later
And our
on today, and
cutting
that's
is
cattle
Colvin.
penning. And it's very similar to cutting, only they've got to bring the cattle down to the other end of the arena and get them into a pen.
Okay, we'll take a look at this again. Okay, now you can
Okay.
explain everything that's going on.
You see now she's dropped her hand. Oh, she's still separating her cow here. Okay. Now she's dropped her hand. She's committed to that cow now, so she's being judged on how her horse is working that cow. Now she's quitting. Usually when you see the cutter lift their hand and put their free hand down on the horse's neck, that's telling the judge, I'm quitting this cow, I'm going to go get another one.
Well, she pulled up on the reins with her
That's
left
right.
arm to...
To tell the
stop the
horse, we're
horse
going to
to-
quit this
yeah.
cow.
Well, there's a real art for the rider to understand the horse, and of course the horse has to be confident with the rider too. I gather the horse was, they would know whether if you were going out and riding, they would know whether or not you're a little bit leery of what's going on.
They can, yes,
They can sense
They
that?
can sense if you're nervous or if you're relaxed or uptight, yes. And the cutter and the horse, it is a real team. You know, you have to practice and get in sync with each other. This is, I believe this is Bill Colvin. And Bill's from Langley here, and he's a new father. He and his wife Janice just had a little baby boy 2.5 months ago.
Well, congratulations. The future cowboy.
That's right.
So they got a bouquet of flowers and a cowboy hat.
Yep, there you go.
And now we're getting this one separated.
There, now you can see that Bill has got that cow separated. Now he's dropped his hand, and the rest is up to the horse. If you watch the horse, they really, really read these cattle. That horse is always watching the cow. He's trying to guess where that cow's going to go before he goes there. So he's quitting that cow. He's going to go in and get another one. I hear them playing Ian Tyson in the background. Actually, Ian Tyson has been a longtime member of the Cutting Horse Association.
And Ian Tyson was just in town last
He was
weekend.
here, yes, he was, yes.
In Cloverdale.
Okay, Bill is having a really nice go here. Ideally in cutting, you want all the cutting to take place in the middle third of the arena. This is called the pay pocket. If you're cutting right in the center of the arena, that's where you're going to build up a lot of points.
Extra bonus points?
That's right. Bill's having a really nice go. Bill actually hauls cattle to Merritt. That's his big cattle liner sitting over there. So it is a real bonus. It's a real definite plus when you can look at a herd of cattle and you can read them. You can say that is going to be a good cow. That's not going to be a good cow. So Bill's time is up. He had a really nice work.
Yeah, worked it right in the center. That got him
That's
pleased
right.
with his ride.
That's right.
Now we've gone through 3 so far. Now, do we go through the entire 15 teams? For
No.
this?
Thank you,
They
Bill.
won't.
Your score is a 70, 7-0.
Okay, so
70.
Bill scored a
Our
70.
next team is
What they will do is
the
have what's
Fraser
called
Highway
cattle
Brewery
change. These
team.
cattle will
And our cutter
eventually
is
start to
Mike
get
Stradling.
sour and not work as well. So what they'll do is they'll stop.
Take a
and-
look at the last ride.
Yeah. You can, if you watch the horse's eyes and expression, you can see he's reading that cow. He's so intent on watching him.
I'll have to see if I can maybe put a little more emphasis on our camera people and see if they can, how close of a close-up they can get for the horse's face next time.
And if
'Cause
you
that's
watch their
quite
front
the- quite the
legs, it's
movement.
just amazing what's really going on. You watch this horse, all the physical ability that they have.
Now, the horses, are the bottom of their legs taped?
Those are called splint boots, and those are to protect the bottom half of the horse's legs.
Just from injury?
Exactly, yep.
I think Elda is ready downstairs. I don't think she's on a horse yet, but we're going to work on that. Elda, you ready?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm here with Patty McGrath. She just did the cutting. And Patty, what is your position with the rodeo?
I'm with the BC Ranch Cutting Association, and I'm a treasurer in the association, which means I look after the books and do a lot of the taking of the money and taking it to the bank and things like that.
And I hear your husband has a great part to do with it, too.
He just got voted in as the president of the association, yeah, so he's kind of like my boss, which doesn't go too well at home, but we work it out.
Right. What is your favorite thing to do within the rodeo?
Is the event that I just did, which is the cutting, and I've been doing that about 8 years. The little horse that I was just riding, I've had since he was a baby, and we trained him and brought him along, and about the last 6 years, I've been doing most of it myself, and he's turned out to be one fine little horse.
Are you from Langley, Patty?
Yes, born and brought up in Vancouver, and then moved to Langley when I was married.
Great, thanks a lot, Patty.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Steve and Wendy.
Thanks, Elda. City transplant out to the valley.
That's
Maybe
right.
we'll get Elda to talk to all the people down there, talk to Patty, and see if she can do an interview with someone riding around the ring on one of those horses. That would be quite the interview down there, I think. But now we've got another separation down here.
That's right. Now we're watching Mike Stradling, and Mike is from Chilliwack, BC, and Mike is an insurance salesman.
By day.
By
And
day,
a cowboy by heart.
cowboy cutter by weekend, and
Doesn't that amaze you at the different professions that they do?
there's just about everything you can imagine.
Oh, got by him.
Yeah, so that's going to cost
Loss
Mike
of points?
5. Yeah, so he's going to have to go back in the herd now and cut out another cow. It looks like he's going to go after this big brown cow.
Well, that cow appeared to get separated very, very quick.
Some cattle will do that, and some will stick together, and it's really hard to separate them.
I'd like to see them number the cattle so we could know how often they use one particular cattle versus cow
Well,
versus another
once
one.
you've been to enough cuttings, you can look at that herd and you know that so-and-so already cut that cow and somebody else cut that other cow, and they to some people, I guess they all look the same, but once you've cut enough, you can tell which ones are which. Okay, so Mike's time is up.
Okay, now the cornermen, their job is just to keep the rest of the cattle back?
That's right, those are your herd holders, and they're there to keep that herd up against the back fence and to keep it in the middle of the arena.
And Mike's score is a 68. Thank you, Mike.
So Mike probably would have had a 72 or a 73 had he not lost that cow.
Our next team in is sponsored by Cambridge Insurance, and our cutter is D. Stradling.
Now, okay, as we take a second look at this. Okay, now, this is the one where I believe we're leading into the one where the cow actually goes by him.
Yeah, this, and like I say, this happens. Maybe the horse just misjudged where the cow was going to go. It's not uncommon in cutting. You know, once in a while you lose a cow. The horse just sort of misjudged. He thought the cow was going to go the other way. And entering the arena right now is Mike's wife, Dee Stradling. Like I say, this is a real family sport.
It is a family
A
sport.
lot of husband and wife teams and sisters and brothers.
A lot of ladies involved.
That's
and they
right.
come out and they want to do it. Okay, now we've got to get the cattle separated. Now, when will they change these cattle so they don't, as you call it, go sour?
They, I'm not sure when they're having the cattle change. They're probably going to have one here pretty quick. They might have 1 or 2 more cutters in this herd, and then they'll need to change it.
I'd like to get a close-up shot later on. We'll have to, again, see if we can get Elda down right in the center of the ring or something like that so we can actually take a look at some of the shoes that they're using, because obviously there must be someone out there that, you know, puts all the shoes on.
Yeah, and I mean, the horses, it's just like people. Their feet have different needs. I mean, there's probably not 2 horses in this whole arena that have got the exact same shoes on.
Now, he's separated. He's got the cow separated from the rest of the herd.
That's right. There's a good shot, good close-up shot of Dee's horse working. And if you watch the power that they use in their hind end when they're cutting, they say that a cutting horse exerts more energy in 2.5 minutes than a thoroughbred does in a mile race.
Wow.
Yeah.
As you watch them, their rear section is so powerful.
That's right. That's where all the drive comes from, and the quickness that you see from going to one direction and changing to the next is coming from the front end, and all the power is coming from the back end.
Is this as we're waiting and watching him separate another cow. Is this rough on the person's body?
Some horses are pretty rough, and other horses are really smooth. And when you're just starting cutting and you're not too sure about how to sit, and it's a real art, yeah, you can kind of get slammed around a little bit.
Well, he's got this cow separated from the rest. Dropped his hands. As you're watching, like you were saying, that was a nice move.
Yeah, yeah. Dee's having a nice work here. This is a
Good
good
work,
cow.
good
This
ride.
is the kind of cow you want.
Now again, they're trying to keep him to the center.
That's right. Now, if you watch these two turnback men out front, you'll see how they keep that cow moving, almost like they're playing ping pong with it.
Now what happens if the cow goes forward past those two?
That does happen. If that cow gets out past the turnback men and heads down here to the other end of the arena, Dee can quit that cow and go back in and get another one.
That was a good ride.
She had a good, nice,
very impressed.
yeah, she had a nice go.
That was a very, very impressive ride. Good move by the horse. Yeah, I'd have visions of me being out there and having the horse stop and go one way and me going the other way.
Well, that happens. That happens.
Okay, I think Elda's downstairs with another interview. Elda?
Thanks, Steve. I'm here with May Underhill. She's one of the spectators in the stands here. What's your favorite event to watch?
Watching this is the team roping.
And were you ever involved in the rodeo?
No,
I hear,
spectator.
I hear your husband was involved, though.
Yes, he was, very much so.
Well, that's nice to know. And are you glad that the sun came out for this event?
Oh, it's great. We've had good weather, but it had been raining for a few days.
Now, you were saying something about that it's a very social event to have be involved with the rodeo.
It is, you know, most of the people that compete, you kind of pick your team, but then when it's all over, everybody's friends. They're all friends yet.
And I hear you have a lot of friends out here involved
Oh,
in
yes,
this.
a lot of them. Most of the guys here are people I know.
Great, I'll let you go back to watching. Back to you, Steve and Wendy.
Thanks, Elda. Yeah, it is. As you were talking, a real family event. A lot of people want to get involved and help out. Now, we're going to take a look at the last one right now, the replay in the last one. Beautiful action here and control by the horse, Wendy.
That's right. Like we said earlier, Dee and Mike have been in the Cutting Horse Association for quite a while too. And Dee used to ride hunter jumpers before she got into cutting. She's a nice rider. You can see that Dee's really in sync with her horse. That was a really nice move there.
I think that was the best move right there. Now, it'd be interesting to see what type of score they give her.
Yeah.
We will wait because they haven't made the announcement yet, but...
And in the herd right now is Debbie Crowder. And Debbie is relatively new to the sport of cutting, so she's what we would call a novice rider, and she's quickly moving her way up the ladder. I think this is Debbie's second or third year, probably her second year.
Now, when they've got 15 teams, as we were talking earlier on, and they pick the teams at the start, those teams stay together for the entire duration of the whole event?
That's right. Yeah, whoever is on your team, you're with them for the rest of the day.
Boy, you sure either learn to love them or hate them.
That's right.
One or the other, wouldn't you? But that would be fun, though,
and that's
to
what
work
makes
with
it such a fun day. I mean, it's all in fun, you know. We try not to get too serious about it. We're just all out here to have a good time. And it's not very often that we can get all the ropers and cutters and cattle penners all together on the same day. So it is really a fun day.
It is. I wish more people would use that big three-letter word, fun, and take it the way it's meant to be taken.
That's right.
Too many people take things way too serious now. But this is, again, out there, another good ride, good control by the horse.
Now,
let it get by.
There you go. You see how that cow just sort of pushed right against Deb's horse?
It's got a mind of its own.
Yeah, once they get kind of used up, they decide, well, I'm not afraid of this horse anymore, and I'm going where I want to go.
They do. They do. We were talking earlier on about the amount of people that come out and watch and different ages. I think Elda's ready with someone a little bit younger than me right now. Elda?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm here with Andrew Tate. His father is involved in the rodeo. Are you interested at all about getting involved yourself?
Well, I'd like to, but I don't. When I'm older, I think I will. I'd like to.
What's your favorite event to watch?
Cutting.
You like that, eh? Your dad hasn't went yet?
No.
Okay, well, I'll let you get back to it, and back to you, Steve and Wendy.
Thanks, Elda. You tell him before he's able to get involved, he's got to trade those running shoes in for what I call some Saskatchewan hush puppies. Some of them cowboy boots there. A little more stable on the horse. I don't think you can ride a horse nowadays with runners. Now, what are we going through right now is we see a youngster run across the ring there.
63.
She's what we call our runner, and she's taking the score over from the judge to the announcer.
63 for that one. Now, what was the score of
By the saddle
the other one
shop,
that
and
we
our
had?
cutter is Roy
Of de-straddling, I didn't hear her score.
Maybe Elda can see if she can get the score for us for de-straddling for that one, because she appeared to have an exceptional ride. Okay, here's the last one.
Yep, this is Debbie Crowder. Now you see Debbie's dropped her hand there. She's committed to that cow now.
And the horse does the rest.
There
right
you go.
But it got by her on the outside.
And that happens.
And Roy's now entering the herd, and we'll have a cattle change after this go.
Now, I think we were just told Dee's score is 73, so that,
So
unless
Dee's
we've,
leading it.
haven't been told different, that's the highest score that we've been told
That's
so far.
right. So that would put my sister-in-law, Patty McGrath, into second place.
Ah, so what are you telling us? That you're going to leave the booth and go down and give her a little bit of help here, or what?
Dinner's on Patty tonight, I guess, huh?
It could very well be. Now, once again, got this one separated. Try to get through the center and out past the two outside.
This is Roy Passmore, and he's from Victoria.
There, just what we were talking about.
That's right. Now, Roy saw that that cow was going to get away. So while it was leaving the arena, you don't want to waste any time. He quit real quick, and now he's going to go back in and get another cow.
Okay, now, so because he quit real quick, and the horse or the cattle was going out like that,
yeah.
Would that save him the possible loss of points?
Yeah, he won't be docked for a loss of cow there. That's not going to be any penalty.
So that was a wise move on his part to read the
Exactly.
play and understand what the cow was going to do, and know
Exactly.
where the cow was going to go and when to quit.
That's right. Now, what I didn't tell you before is when you're quitting your cow, you can only quit a cow when it's completely turned away from you. Like well, no, he can't quit now.
Now?
Now he can quit. That
Okay.
cow has to be completely turned away
So
from
when the
you.
wrong end's facing you.
Right.
When the
If
north
you-
end's going south, is what
That's
you're saying.
exactly what I'm trying to say. Or if the cow is standing still, all 4 feet on the ground, then you can quit. If you quit while that cow is moving, it's going to cost you 3 points.
Now, you talk about the scores and when you can quit and all that. Is the onus on this one particular lady down here that we were talking about, or is it on the people that are sitting resting in the back of this truck?
If you see, this is Mary Lynn Zernhilt sitting in the back of that pickup truck, and she is our judge. And she's going to be making all the calls.
Once again, good control by the horse.
Mary Lynn Zernhilt, her and her husband Bob, as I say, they've been in cutting for a long, long time, and they have won just about everything there is to win in the sport of cutting.
And if they have not won it, it hasn't been invented.
Exactly, exactly.
Do they ever have the chance where, supposing someone goes out and does some cutting and they're not pleased with the score they get? What's the process from there? Do they, can they have a choice
You have
of
to
appeal?
grin and bear
or-
it. No, you can't appeal it. You're really not supposed to say anything to the judge until the end of the day. The cutting has to
Thank
be
you. Score
over.
for Roy is a 69. We're going to switch the herd
So you
now.
gotta bite your tongue. Here's a look at
Exactly.
the last rider coming up right now. Okay, now watch
What
the
they're
rider.
doing now is they're changing the herd. They're going to
Okay.
run these cows out and bring in
Well,
some fresh
while
ones.
we're kicking the horses or the cattle out, take a look up at the rider. Real close view of the rider here.
Okay, now Roy's watching that cow. You see him looking over here at the cow.
Very, very focused.
Exactly. If you're not watching that cow and not paying attention, and your horse decides to go south when you've been going north, you're going to end up on the ground.
Well, this is where you have to stay focused on that one particular animal, because you can't let your mind wander and look sideways for any type of distraction. Because if you had a distraction like that and your horse wasn't paying close attention, then the cattle could get
That's right.
completely past
And
you.
it's amazing when you're out there cutting, you don't know anything going on around you except for you and that cow. You can't hear anything or see anything else except for what's going on right there in front of you.
Okay, now we see lots of people sitting out in the center of the ring, and
They're
are
just
these-
relaxing and enjoying the sun. And
Will these people be coming up and partaking in this event as well?
these are all our ropers. So once we're done here with the cutters, I believe we're going into the roping, and they'll get a chance to show their stuff.
Well, I watched a couple people down here just below our broadcast booth, and they were actually practicing on the fence poles down there.
That's right.
Trying with the roping. There's a real art for that. I've only tried
Exactly.
that once, and I never caught what I was aiming for anyway. So
That's right.
I forgot it.
That's right. I tried swinging a rope once, and I'm all thumbs, so I decided to stay with cutting.
We'll talk about swinging the rope and all that as we watch these people. They're just relaxing, as you were saying. But there's a real art for dancing and all that too.
Exactly.
And, well, they're changing the cattle right there. We're going to take a little bit of a break and come back with more from the 1996 annual Team Cowboy Olympics right after this timeout.
You're watching Rogers Community 4, serving Surrey, Langley, and New Westminster.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to beautiful downtown Langley. And we are covering this 1996 Team Cowboy Olympics out here in Langley. And right now we're covering the cutting part. I'm Steve Erickson with Wendy Hendrickson out here doing the telecast on this beautiful day, Wendy.
It's a
Thank
great
heavens
day.
King Saul accommodated us.
That's right.
Okay, now what we're watching, fill the people in. We've watched some of this before. He's trying to do the separation
That's right. This
now.
is Bob Zernhilt again, and he's just finishing settling the herd. He's getting these cattle used to a horse running back and forth in front of them, because that's what the cutter's going to be doing. And as you can see there, they kind of jump away a little bit. They're not quite ready. Once they settle down a little bit more, Bob will nod his head and say, yep, these cattle are ready to go.
How many cattle would they go through? Would they change the cattle? We've obviously, this is the first time we've seen them change, so 2 sets of cattle. Will they possibly change them again?
No, this will be it. I believe that they just decided to change the cattle once, so we'll have the rest of the cutters go in this herd. You go through a lot of cattle at a cutting. You've got to have usually 300 or 400 head to hold a cutting.
A lot of bucks
That's right.
tied up there.
That's right.
You say it fast, it doesn't hurt though.
No.
Second round of the cutting.
Oh, according to this, we're all set to start. You give the little bit of a nod right there.
Westland Feeds team of Jim Fisher, Larry Blow, Rob Bell, and Don Fremantle, and the cutter is Jim Fisher.
Okay, so this is Jim Fisher getting ready to go here.
We've seen it before, and we'll watch and see how they control them from here. Oh, they've lost one rider. They're trying to find Larry Blow, and I think he's... You can hear everybody calling him anyway. He's coming. He just went out for a cup of coffee or a siesta or
That's
whatever.
right.
But they'll call him back in, and he'll
Yeah.
get going. Yeah, you look at it, we were talking earlier on about the expense involved here. Never mind the expense for the horse and the maintenance and upkeep for the horse, the cattle. You look at the equipment that the riders have, the chaps. I like the cowboy hats naturally, but
Yep.
you know, I mean, we've got everything. I mean, the saddles are not cheap nowadays either.
No, you have to have a specialized cutting saddle, special shafts.
And there's different types of saddle, we should say. This type, there's the English riding saddle.
That's right. These are cutting saddles. The ropers have got roping saddles. It's like any event, you know, it's very specialized.
Now these ones, I guess the biggest difference between these ones, do these ones have as long of a horn on them as some of the other ones? Or?
The cutting saddle has got a very flat seat, and it's usually quite a large seat because you need room to move around in the saddle. The horns are taller than they are on a roping saddle, and they're very thin so that you can get your whole hand wrapped around the horn.
Now, when they cinch them up, do they chew them fairly tight, or they like the
Just
saddles
before you
loose,
go
or is
into
that the
cut-
rider's preference?
Yeah, before you go into to cut, you want to just snug your saddle up a little bit tighter than you would have it normally. So here's our cutter, Jim Fisher, going into the herd.
Now, obviously, they've found Larry Blow. So he's entered, and then the time starts from when he goes in and actually goes past
That's
the
right.
lady that's leaning against the rail there in the blue
That's
hat.
right.
Now, supposing a rider goes in and goes through all the motions for this, and hypothetically, we'll say it might happen. What would happen if in the 2.5 minutes they did not separate one cow from the rest of the cow?
That has happened. In that case, you'd get a 60. You know, you'd get a no score.
Flat score of 60.
That's right.
Because that hypothetically it could happen.
It has happened too. Okay, now that's interesting. What happened there is
Yeah, that
called a
was.
back fence. Jim didn't actually lose that cow, but the back fence is what stopped the cow.
So would
that's
they
going to
lose
cost
marks?
him. That's going to cost him 3 points. So he's going to go in now and cut out another cow.
What's the largest deduction you can lose, and what's it for?
If your horse falls down while you're cutting, it's
Oh,
a
heaven
0.
forbid.
Yeah, and that happens too. You know, you might hit a slick spot in the arena. I've had horses fall on me quite a bit in cutting, and they lose their footing, they slip, and down they go, and that's an automatic 0.
So is it more beneficial for the cowboy or cowgirl to have a drier track versus a wetter track?
Yeah, we like to have, ideally, this is perfect footing, sand, not too deep.
Good control on this one by the horse.
Yeah, Jim's having a good go now.
Aha,
That cow
got
got
through
away.
everybody. Yeah, that one's on right to Cloverdale.
So that's not going to cost Jim any points there. That was not his fault that he lost that cow.
Who would you blame that on then?
Well, you might want to blame your turnback men, but then they might not help you next time, so you don't say anything.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's right.
You want help, get it yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so Jim's going to go after this big Charlet cow. And as you can notice now, this cow is
Trying to
quite a
get
big
out too,
cow.
yeah.
A little bit slower than the one that he had before.
Now, did he let the cow go back, or what happened?
No, actually what happened there was his horse is, he did what we call quitting the cow. And his horse actually kind of lost interest in what he was doing. And just decided that I don't want to cut and I don't want to play this game anymore. And the horse just sort of quit. So he will be deducted for that as well.
So a little higher than the 60, and obviously got to be less
he
than
might
73.
He might end up with a 60.
64.
64.
64, there, we can hear it. Now I watched this young person.
Thank you, Jim, and your score is 64.
Running back and forth,
Our next team in the
indicating
arena
what the
is
score
Sharp
is.
Imaging. Our cutter
Last
is Joe
time
Gilbert,
I watched this young
helpers
man
Bob
run
Moreau,
over to the
Scott
booth
Gordon,
like
and
that,
Clayton
coming back,
Freeman.
and he actually fell.
Oh no.
Got up, brushed himself off, carried right on. But we'll take a look. Speaking of carrying on, let's take a look at the replay on this one right here.
Okay.
Now, this is the one we just saw.
That's right. This is Jim. Larry's dropped his hand, committed to the cow.
Now explain to us as we're doing this when the horse comes out and loses focus or completely quits, so we can.
If you
we can
watch that
for it.
horse, you'll actually see the horse just start to look away from the cow, and you know he's losing interest. And cutters will call it
Right
quitting
there?
the cow.
No?
No, he's still okay right there. There he got a little bit behind the cow. He's not right up there. That the cow and the horse should be face to face all the time, head to head. He got a little bit behind there. And
Good stance.
yeah.
Different style of horses
That's right.
they can use. I think as we're waiting for someone else to get started, I think Elda is the founders of a cowboy. Elda?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I got Roy Passmore here with me. He's one of the cutters. Where are you from, Roy?
I'm from Victoria, the capital.
And I hear that you have some land up in Kamloops?
I have a business up in Kamloops, and I live in Victoria, and so I kind of travel both ways and sometimes take my horse with me and work with a lot of cutting up in Kamloops. Yeah.
What's your favorite event?
Well, I'm a cutter, and I enjoy cutting. Cutting's a great sport in my mind, yeah. Yeah.
And thanks very much. Back to you, Steve.
Trust you to find somebody from Kamloops never fails. We were just talking about that, weren't we, Wendy?
That's right. Okay, this is Joe Gilbert cutting right now, and Joe is affectionately known as Grandpa Joe in the Cutting Horse Association down here.
What you're telling us is he's been around a long time?
Yeah, and he's just a wonderful guy.
Very patient, and I guess patience out here is a very strong virtue nowadays.
Yes, exactly. This is a new horse for Joe. He just bought this horse not too long ago, so he's still kind of getting used to this horse. And Joe is retired now, and this is his hobby and what he enjoys to do. So you see, there's no age limit on this event.
No, that's true, and it's funny because different people want to do different things, and you're talking about this man's retired out here, and this is what his weekend hobby is, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
I couldn't see my father doing this.
Oh, Joe just lost his hat.
He's still got him, or has he quit?
He's all right
Still
there.
with him.
Yeah, he quit the cow. He's going to go in and get another one.
He just wants to get his hat.
Yeah.
Let me
Okay.
separate another one out.
Joe's going to peel that cow off there and cut this one. It's really nice to see these guys get out there and just have fun, you know.
And they are. They're doing a good job of that. Now, you were talking about the fact that he's got a new horse. If you got a new horse and you're going out and you're going to train your horse, if you had ideal conditions, how long would it take you to train the horse to do something like this?
Well, a lot of these horses are started as 2-year-olds, and they want to be shown as 3-year-olds in what we call futurities. So they've got a year's worth of training on them by the time we get them to the futurity. Ideally, you want a situation where you can work your horse on cows 5-6 days a week.
Yeah, I believe Joe had a score of 69, so
Our
not a
next
bad
team
ride
in
for
will be
Joe.
Preston Chevol's team, and Jean Skoji is your cutter, Bev Kirby, Darcy Campbell, and Karen
We'll
Jansen,
watch
the
Joe
helpers.
again.
There's Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa Joe. No relation to Grandpa Jones.
A lot of these cutters are non-professionals. We call them non-pros, and many of them have their trainer, and their trainer keeps the horse trained and schooled all week long while they're off doing their jobs, and then the non-pro, the customer, will come and jump on their horse on the weekend and go to the show.
You
So-
would think that weight could play a very important factor. So if you were going to get someone to train your horse, you'd have to get someone that's pretty well the same weight factor as you are.
It really doesn't make too much of a difference. A lot of the trainers are men, and you know, they vary from weights, but
Hold that thought. We're coming right back with more right after this timeout.
Picked up there by Dixon. Dixon in the spot. Great save there by the goaltender. Menard, the rebound. Watch this. The big man.
Sean Olsen calling a signal, pitches out to Ryan Cody, gets around the outside, gets the first down, and he's tackled.
And before he takes it away, here's Cody. And he gets it to go. And what a play by McCrory. Unbelievable. Tony McCrory.
You're watching Rogers Community 4, serving Surrey, Langley, and New Westminster.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Team Cowboy Olympics from beautiful Langley, British Columbia, the Langley Riders Arena out here, just at 208 and 42nd Ave in beautiful downtown Langley. Gorgeous day out here as we watch this event. Now, we've got another cutter out there that's going through the
that's
progress
right, Steve.
now.
This is Gene Skoji, and he's from down across the line in Washington.
Is it more important to stay a distance from the cow, or is it better to if you're a little closer?
No, you don't want to get too close to your cow. Actually, your horse should be holding a line back and forth in front of that herd. You don't want your horse to come out towards that cow that you're cutting.
So then you would want to keep a distance so it's easier for movability for the animals?
Yeah, and if your horse starts to come out towards the cow, you're going to lose your working advantage, and that can get you into trouble.
You ever see any real serious injuries right now with either the cattle or the horses?
No, we haven't had too many real bad injuries. I mean, once in a while a horse will fall down or, you know, maybe a cow will kick you in the leg or in the knee while you're in the herd, but they're
71.
So Jean marked a 71.
Yeah, 71. Not a bad ride.
Your score is 71.
Pretty good ride for that one. Now, we watch them right now. Now, what are they trying to do? They're obviously trying to get the cows back.
We had
down
a
to the
couple of
end.
escapees down here. So the team members are just gone down there to bring these cattle back.
Another look at the last ride we saw.
That's right. That's Jean. You see his horse getting ready to stop hard, turn fast. Off he goes the other way.
I notice the horse don't have blinders on.
No, no, they have to be able to see. That horse is looking at the cow. He's cutting. He's aware of where the herd is behind him. There's a lot going on while you're out there, and you've got to keep your wits about you and kind of be aware of everything that's going on.
You've got to be aware and be able to look around all sides so you know.
That's right.
Good ride. 71 he scored. Now we were talking, as we were watching the next rider go in, we were talking about the size discrepancies. You would think that if I'm going out there and I'm going to ride my horse, and being the size that I am, I'm not obese, but Jim's laughing downstairs. But with me being around 190 pounds, it would be, I think, not so advantageous towards a horse if I had someone train him that would be, we'll say, maybe 125 or 130 pounds.
It depends on the horse, the size of the horse, the athletic ability of the horse. I mean, if you and I were to ride the same horse, it would be an advantage for the horse, of course, to have a little less weight on his back. But a lot of these horses are very, very powerful, and it really doesn't handicap them at all.
So if we were to ride a horse, would you be in the front or in the back?
I would definitely be in the front.
This is good how he's separating them, but he's got two cows out there.
That's right, and this is what I was telling you earlier. A lot of these cows, they'll just stick together, and it's really a tough job to get them split apart.
Is this a male or a female, or do we know?
I believe this is Lydia Cameron cutting right now.
Okay.
And Lydia is a local horse trainer here from Langley.
From the Langley area.
That's right.
From our vantage point up here on top of the truck, and of course, beautiful sunny day here, we've got our shades on. It's a little bit difficult to see from our vantage point, so we apologize to you for that. That wasn't meant to sound facetious. It's just a little bit difficult to see. And they've all got their cowboy hats, but Wendy's upset because she can't wear her cowboy hat up here. It was actually fun watching her try to put that over top of the headset. But,
didn't work.
No, it didn't work at all, did it? Yeah, this is quite the art how they go out. And again, as you were saying, different size horses, different size cattle.
Yeah. Ideally, you know, you don't want a cutting horse to be too large because that's a disadvantage. It's easier for a smaller horse to stop and turn real fast. So generally cutting horses, you don't see too many cutting horses over 15 one hands high.
Is that the average height for the horse?
They vary. I've had some cutting horses that are just under 14 hands, which is quite tiny.
So when you go out, if you were going out to, as we're waiting right now for the herd to get separated a little bit, if you were going out right now to pick a horse, what would be your ideal conditions for the horse?
The first thing you're going to look at is breeding. Breeding is a very important part in choosing a good cutting horse. And size, you don't want one that's too large or too small. They've got to have a good bone on them. If they've got real fine bones, they're going to break down. So Lydia marked a 68.
Not a bad ride, 68.
Not a bad ride.
No, that was
Score
pretty
for
good.
Lydia is a 68.
She had the last horse separated, and
Our next team in
and
is
they blew the
sponsored by
whistle on her
Legacy
and
Quarter Horses. Our
made her
cutter is
quit, and
Rob
they're gonna
Tate.
wait
Our
for the
helper
next
is
one.
Randy
That's
Broadway.
right.
Tim
And I
Capaduca
think our
and
next
Gordon
cutter is
Brooks.
Rob Tate, and I was telling you earlier that a lot of the competitors here today are farriers, and Rob happens to be a farrier.
now here's a look at our last rider that we had.
Right, this is Lydia. Cutting is really an addictive sport. Once you've tried it, it's in your blood.
Now she let up on that one there.
That's right, you can see her putting her right hand down on her horse's neck. That's telling the horse and the judge that, okay, we're quitting this cow. We're gonna go get another one.
And she did exactly just that. Not a bad score, as you were saying.
Okay, so here's Rob Tate, and he's entering the herd. He's just crossing the timeline right now, and his 2.5 minutes starts now.
Some of them take their time. Some of them go in a little more aggressive into the herd.
That's right. You don't want to be too quick in the herd because you're going to scatter the herd and scare them. So it's important to be quiet and calm while you're in the herd. And I believe Rob has his eye on one particular cow, so he's going to try and drive that cow out. And looks like he got the cow he was after.
When you go in, as you're approaching the cattle, when you go in, is there one particular cattle you focus on initially, or just go in and look at the first one that sort of wanders off?
That's a good question. That's up to the cutter, and usually with experience, you will watch the herd before you go in. And you'll have your eye on 2 or 3 cows in that herd that you would like to cut. So once your experience is, you get a little more experienced at it, you can go into the herd and cut out that cow that you want. And hopefully it will be a good cow. Some of the more novice riders will go in and they'll just do what we call cut for shape. They'll just cut whatever cow shapes up for them.
The more experienced rider goes in and actually picks one out as they're approaching.
That's right. You know, your trainer might come to you and say, the Charlet or the black one up against the back fence is a good cow, or this one out front's a good cow. Go in and cut that one out. And that takes some skill to go into a herd of cattle and get that one particular cow out.
Watch it.
Now, I believe this is this horse that Rob is on is a young horse. I think this horse is only 4 years old. So this horse has only had 2 years worth of training, and you can see how well he's doing.
Would he lose marks there, considering the cow ran into the fencing
No,
over there?
that's not going to be anything taken off of Rob's score.
Sure scattered the people sitting on the fence, though.
Yeah, it kind of made him jump, didn't it? Okay, Rob's having a little bit of trouble there getting that cow separated. Now he's okay.
Now he's got the one he wanted.
That's right. This looks like this might be a good cow. That cow's staying set up right in the middle. That's the pay area.
That's where they want it.
The center third of the arena. Okay.
Very impressed, not just with the cutter's horse, but the rest of the horses. They all work so well together.
That's right.
And communication is of the utmost out there.
Yeah, it really is.
I think Elda's found herself another cowboy. Elda, come on home.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I did find myself another cowboy. I got Randy Rogers here. He's on the team roping team. How many years have you been involved in team roping?
Since 1966, 30 years.
And is that your favorite event?
Yes, it is.
And you live in Langley, correct?
Yep, right in South Langley.
Do you like it out here?
It's where I was born. I don't feel like going anywhere else.
And what about the team that you were chosen with?
This year I got chosen with my dad, which is quite ironic. Everybody's drawn either side, the headers and the heelers, and you get to pick from 15, and get to pick with my dad was quite nice.
Now you can teach him a thing or two, correct?
Oh, I sure hope so.
Great, I'll let you get back to the sport.
All right,
back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Ella. I'm just curious to see whether or not he listens to his dad. Maybe you can find out, does he listen to him here or what? That'd be quite the thing, working with your father and that. And again,
right.
that's where the, sometimes one of your parents are your best friends.
That's right. Actually, Randy Rogers is my farrier. He's been shoeing my horses now for about 16 years.
Now here's the cow. Says, "What are you doing to me?"
Now this cow, you can see, he's kind of looking for a place to get away.
Yes, wants out big time.
Sometimes these Charlet cows, they can be a little bit stingy.
That's the one that ran right into the fence.
That's right,
there,
yeah.
and,
I think that cow kind of gave in a second thought about jumping over that fence.
We've got our next rider right now.
Yeah, this is Al McMillan. And Al is a cutter from the Lower Mainland here in Langley.
I'm really impressed with the skill of these horses that they can read what the cow is going to be doing.
Yeah, and we call that a cow horse. They're actually reading the cow And that horse knows what the cow's going to do before he does it.
Could you categorize some of these as almost the same as sheepdogs?
Yeah, in a way it is.
With their ability to read where the animal's going?
That's right.
They're going to separate one more. Yeah, you talk about a team sport, how they all have to work so well together.
Yeah, you've got your 4 helpers, your herd holders, and your 2 turnback men, and it is a team. And the nice thing about cutting, when you're at a cutting horse show, is everybody helps everybody else.
We had a situation there.
That's right.
If we get a chance to see it, where one of the cows was going to come out, and the turnback man moved in to move him back, and the cow that they had separated went out past that lane and down by him.
And that happens sometimes, you know, it's a judgment call. You jump in there and try and do the best that you can, and sometimes things just don't work out for the best.
I was impressed with the turnback man, with the way his horse actually was so maneuverable to back up.
Exactly, yeah.
Never mind, you know, the big burst of speed going forward, but the ability to almost put the gear in reverse and go back.
That's right. So that's time for Al.
Now, that wasn't a bad ride.
No, not a bad ride.
Now, coming up next, who should be our next rider?
Well,
we're watching. They're still trying to get a couple of cows
bring
back into the herd. There was a couple that managed to escape.
67.
There, you can hear 67, the score for Al.
Your score is 67.
Now, here's a look.
Fraser Valley Auctions team
As
is
Al's
up
going
there.
in.
Cutter is Joan Sarek. Helpers are Karen Popple, Neil Main, and Marty Gross.
that's a good shot right there of Al sitting. It's really important, you know, when your horse is stopping hard like that, that you stop with your horse. You really got to sit down. You don't want to be thrown up over the front of the horn or over the neck of the horse.
Oh, that's what I was telling you earlier. I could see the horse stopping one way and me going the other way. Real simple. Is it better for posture-wise to sit more erect in the saddle?
No,
or,
you don't want to be. You don't want to sit too straight because then you're too stiff. You want to really sit down on the pockets.
You just got to be relaxed.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to really be relaxed and sit on the pockets. So we've got Joan coming into the herd now.
Joan's entering the herd.
Good crowd on hand out here watching this today, and not only do we see people in the ring at the Langley Riders Arena, we see people sitting back in lawn chairs up by their cars.
That's right.
Now, I don't think this looks like Joan, unless Joan...
oh, that's right.
Maybe they had a change. We'll have to see. Maybe we can get Elda to do some legwork and find out who this rider is for us real quick, if she doesn't mind.
They're trying to trick us to see if
they are. She said she'd do that. The lady who's doing the announcing told me earlier on that she was really going to try and trick me. But I should say I'm very, very impressed with the people that we've come out and we've met here today, with how friendly everybody here at the Langley Riders Arena.
Yeah, they're a great group of people.
Give up on that one. Gonna try and get one more. Well, this is quite unique how you go in and you separate them and all that. Because I just go in and you feel like saying, okay, let's just pick one and boot them out of the herd.
That's right. And I mean, these cutters are making it look easy. It's not that easy to go into a herd and bring a cow out. It takes quite a bit of practice. And
well, this rider is John, not Joan.
Okay.
It was just the writing that completely fooled us, that's all.
This is a pretty little roan horse that John's riding.
Not quite, but something along the same lines as the old Palomino that little Joe used to ride on Bonanza.
Well, John's having a nice work there.
Give up on that one, let him go. Now we'll go in and pick one more out. So do they get more points if they possibly, say, separate 3 or 4 or 5 cows out of the herd versus if they only manage to get one out for the 2.5 minutes?
No, long as the cutter goes in and makes what we call one deep cut, where they bring a bunch of cattle out with them. That's the only thing that they have to do. Then they can just sort of go in there and peel one off on their next cow.
Yeah, because we've seen some riders go in. They've had the luxury of going in and possibly doing 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Others have not had that luxury. They've gone in and just separated one.
Yeah, yeah, and like I say, if you've got your eye on one cow and it happens to be at the front of the herd, you're just going to kind of scoop behind it. And
70 the score for John.
Oklahoma Tires. Our cutter is
Not too bad, no. Take a look at that one.
Sherry Brooks. Our helpers are Jack Sturston, Dave Reinhardt, and Frank Principe.
now you see there how John had to rein his horse a little bit? That's going to cost him a point. Every time he lifts his hand to help his horse, it's going to cost you a point.
And the judge that's scoring, they're watching all that.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can't sneak.
Seems there's a lot of onus put on one specific person for this, that, you know, possibly.
For judging?
Yeah, for judging. Do you think that possibly down the road they might look at having a couple of judges versus just
at our bigger shows, we do have 2 judges, sometimes 3. They'll take the high and the low and average out.
Now, what's he indicated now?
I believe they're
Page
calling.
Dave Reinhardt, I
That's
thought they
right.
said.
We need one more team member here.
Here he comes.
But as far as the judges go, they have to go to seminars and clinics, and they're constantly being tested to maintain their judging ticket. You can't just decide you're going to be a judge and go out and judge.
Where would they have such an event where you could go and learn to be a judge?
They have them all over Canada, and some of the judging seminars that they have now are down in Fort Worth, Texas, and all through the States.
Okay, now when you're talking about all over Canada, one would think they would be more prevalent, we'll say, in the interior of BC or Alberta, or
We
no
do
matter
have,
what part of Alberta.
yeah, we have a lot of cuttings up in the interior of BC and Alberta. There's a very large cutting horse association in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, all across Canada.
But when you go to the East Coast, you don't see many cowboy events.
No, you don't. But I think it's catching on, and I think it's growing. This cutting event is very, very large down in the States. California, Texas, Idaho. Now this lady would be Sherry Brooks, I believe.
We had another Brooks earlier on.
We did?
Yeah, I was positive. Yeah, Gord Brooks.
Okay, yeah, he's going to be one of the ropers. He's going to be a header.
Okay.
On the roping team. So that could be husband or brother.
Now the last time just got away, so it's going to go in, take her time.
That's right.
Separate another one
You know,
out.
the weather too affects cattle. When it gets hot, these cattle, they feel like people do. They don't want to be out there working.
You can't really blame them.
No. So sometimes they will get a little bit sticky or even a little bit more aggressive as the day heats up. But the cattle are looked after real well. Once they're put back in the pen, they've got shade, they've got water.
I think some of these cattle have blinders on. They keep running into that fence over there. So that they're going to have to paint it.
That's right.
Yeah, it is. Some of them, you notice with some of the cattle from even when we started, some of the cattle now that are running are appear to be a little more aggressive or assertive in their runs versus some of the earlier ones.
That's right.
Ah, good move. Got through. Never mind one. We had
Lost
two
a
escapes.
couple there. So now that doesn't cost Sherry any points, but it does. I mean, that's cost her some time where she wasn't working.
Yeah.
So now she'll probably just try and peel one off. She needs to get something done here before her time's up.
And everyone else basically just stands and watches.
Yeah,
while they
I
go
see
through
all the
this.
ropers they're all starting to swing their ropes now and kind of get ready here.
And that's quite the event, the ropers event.
I believe Sherry scored a 63.
Thank you, Sherry, and your score is 63.
63. Not the highest score. No.
John has asked that we stay away from the rope at the end of the arena.
So these are the cutting cattle. They're leaving the arena now, and they're going to load up the chutes, and we'll start the roping.
Okay, we'll take a look. Here's a replay on the last one.
Watch yourself. Cow's behind
You can see there Sherry had to help her horse there. And again, so that's, you know, every time you lift your hand, you're going to be demerited 1 point for reining.
There now, as they're in the process right now of taking all the cattle out of the ring to get ready for the roping, they're moving a lot of the barriers out in there, and they've got to prepare the inside field. How long does it take to prepare it for the roping?
They're just going to move some of these panels, and we're going to get somebody to move the truck out of the arena.
They were saying something about they have to drag the arena?
They're going to harrow the arena so that it'll be nice and flat for the ropers when they start. As you can see down there where the cutting was, there's quite a rut going across the pen there where the cutters were all working, so they want to get that smoothed out.
And they'll take their time, and it'll probably take a couple, 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, I think we've probably got 5 minutes here before we get going.
Wow, I tell you, I was very impressed with the way those cutters were working out there. Good thing to watch, and it's quite the sport to be involved with. Don't touch the dial. We're going to come back from the Langley Riders Arena for the 1996 annual Team Cowboy Olympics.
You're watching Rogers Community 4, serving Surrey, Langley, and New Westminster.
Oh, it just slips on and off.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Langley Riders Arena in beautiful downtown Langley for the 1996 Team Cowboy Olympics. Gorgeous day out here. Now, right now, we are watching the roping event. And Wendy, maybe you can try and enlighten us somewhat as to what
the sport's all about.
What it's all about.
Okay.
What are they doing?
This is another team sport. We've got a header and a heeler, and that kind of speaks for itself. The header is going to rope the head of the cow, and the heeler, hopefully, is going to rope the 2 hocks of the cow. They come out of a chute, and they have to wait till that barrier breaks before they come out. And if they break the barrier, that's plus 10. Ideally, the header's going to catch the head of the cow either by the 2 horns or around the neck or by 1 horn. Once the header has got his cow, he's going to do what they call dally, 3 wraps around the horn. Then he's going to take that cow on a 45-degree angle. He's got to turn the cow. The cow can make 1 or 2 jumps before the heeler is actually allowed to loop and catch the hocks of the cow. If they catch before the cow turns its 45-degree angle, that's called a crossfire, and you'll see them flag them for that. That's a no-no.
Now, who is it? Whose job is it to release the cow?
You'll see these 2 cowboys down here that are stringing across the chute there. That's your barrier. And when that chute opens, the barrier will open. If the ropers come out before that string is released, that's called breaking the barrier.
Okay, now does the cowboy that's, in this case, the header, is he the one that initiates the release? Does he say go, or?
He'll nod when they're ready. He'll nod his head. Then they're going to open that chute. The cow's going to come out. The barrier will open, and away they go.
And it looks like this cow definitely wants out.
Okay, now you'll see the rope and the swan. Now he's dallying. Now the heeler wants to catch both hocks, and he missed.
Failed to do so.
Now this heeler has got the option. He can re-dally and try again. This is called carrying 3 ropes. So the heeler is now going to take a second try at catching the 2 hocks of this cow, and he missed. So there's going to be no score for this one.
And they only get 2 tries.
No time, yeah.
Country Outfitters is Wayne Lindsay and
Now, who releases the rope off the animal?
Once you'll watch the header here. He's just going to slacken off on his rope.
And it'll automatically release.
Yeah, he'll just let that cow go in. There's going to be a couple cowboys in the back chute here, and they'll just slip that rope right off.
Now, we watched this out at the Cloverdale Rodeo this past season.
That's right.
And without sounding mean, as they're getting towards it, you hear a lot of criticism about this sport.
Yeah, if you've never seen it done before, I guess you might think that it's hurting these cows, but it really doesn't hurt them at all. They're so well looked after. I mean, once they're back down in the sand, they've got hay, they've got water. It doesn't hurt them at all.
Quick release. The header wants the first one.
Okay. Our header just lost his rope. So.
You don't see that happen that often, where
No,
the
you
header
don't.
loses their rope.
This actually can be a dangerous sport. There's quite a few ropers that have lost some fingers.
Yeah, you can see that, how if you didn't have good control on that, or too firm a control, you could see the rope just, one is they probably wear gloves.
Yes, they do
I
wear a
believe,
glove.
so you're not going to get a rope burn across the palm of your hand. But you could see very easily how that could take one of your fingers off.
Yep, there's been a few of these ropers. If you go and talk to some of them, you'll see a few with missing fingers.
Okay, so now, because of that, no score for that?
That's right.
If we could get you over to the announcers, please.
No time for that.
No time for that one. Now they'll have to get it all set up. Now, here's a replay on that one.
Yeah, you'll just see. He
could
throws
see him.
his rope, and then
Completely
it
missed.
just came right out of his hand. So I think this team in the chute right now is Dave Lambert and Dave Lohe. Dave Lambert's our header, and he's caught. And there goes the heeler in. And he single-hawked this cow, so that's going to be +5. Ideally, you want to rope both hind legs of the cow. That's called double hawking. He single-hawked this cow. He caught him by one leg, so that's going to be a +5. They will get a time for this run.
Time for Dave and Dave is
go in
an
and just
11:50
release
+5,
him.
meaning a 16.50.
16.50 for this team.
Okay, here, we'll see this one again. The header does his job.
That's right. The header's caught. Now he has to turn that cow on a 45-degree angle before the heeler is allowed to throw his rope. And you'll see there he single-hawked him.
And timing is of the utmost, because it's very important when the header turns the cow on the 45-degree angle and the back feet are up.
That's right.
That's when they should throw the rope.
Exactly.
Now watch this. Header goes down, gets him, tries.
And our header
Missed
missed,
him.
so he can redally. So the header is going to,
The cow's in the corner, doesn't want to come out.
he knows where the out gate is. He says, I'm done, I don't want to do this again. So there, our header's going to take another swing at this. They've got to get some momentum going here. There we go. So the header throws his rope and missed.
Missed him.
So no time.
Cow says, I knew I was better off. Now what are they trying for?
Just
to get him out?
Okay, so coming into the chute now is Frank Schultz and Cheryl Green. Frank Schultz is our header and Cheryl Green is the heeler.
Okay, here's the miss on the last one that we saw, Wendy. Just couldn't get a good hold on that one.
Okay, and if you watch Frank, he'll give a nod when he's ready, and they'll open the chute and let the cow out.
There was a nod, you can see it.
Okay, here goes
That's
Frank. And that loop is just not quite on. It was just sort of resting on the top of that cow's head.
Now, as you were saying, he can do this again.
That's right. Frank will get organized here and get his loop. And
these cows aren't foolish. They know where they want to go, and they're just waiting in the corner.
Yeah, now these are yearlings. You'll notice that these steers are quite a bit smaller than the ones that we had for the cutting.
Substantially.
Yeah, and that's because they're faster, lighter. So Frank's going to throw his rope, and he missed
again.
So no time for this team.
No time for Frank and Cheryl.
This is not as easy as it looks.
This is a tough sport. This takes a lot of
really tough,
practice.
because I was watching some this year at the Cloverdale Rodeo, how they were trying to, the healer actually engage the rope, and that was really tough.
That's right.
And they do a lot of practice at this.
Yeah, they do. They most of these ropers practice at least twice a week. Some of them practice more than that.
Now,
Okay,
here's the first
so
try coming up, Wendy.
We got our next team in there.
This is the first one.
And here's our next team. Our header just threw his loop and he missed.
Missed that one.
You'll notice some of these steers don't have horns, and what they do is they strap on horns onto their head.
That's funny looking when you look at him real close. It's like nowadays how you can get a toupee.
That's right, yeah. Okay, so our header just threw again, and it looks like he caught. So now he's going to dally 3 wraps around the horn, turn the steer on a 45-degree angle. Okay, they'll let the steer get up and get going again. And the steer says, I don't want to play. Okay, they got a single hop. So that's going to be +5.
No wonder before the steer runs, they don't like those horns.
In the chute right now, we've got Randy Rogers and his dad, Keith Rogers. And
Randy's the header.
That's right.
56.70 +5, making it 51.70.
I taped over something you wrote down.
That's all right. Randy and his dad in 1995 were the BC Open champions. And in 1982, the team was Canadian champions. Here's Randy. He's thrown his loop and caught.
Nice catch.
There goes Keith. Oh, Keith missed.
Oh, now he gets a try again.
Yeah, Keith will quickly get his loop ready to throw again. Get back in behind the steer. Give it another shot. And he caught double hop.
Both, nice
Good
one.
team.
Now, from here, what's the aim?
That's going to be probably a good time. It's too bad that Keith missed the first throw.
Well, the way they did it, it's no wonder they were the Canadian champions in
That's
1982. Okay, got him cinched. He's going for the second throw here.
Right, here goes Keith. You watch him. He's watching those back feet. You want to get him when they're just leaving the ground. Right there, double hawk. So I believe their time was a 23.99 clean, which means that there was no time faults.
No faults. That was good. That was well done. And again, as the father Keith was throwing the rope, they have to lean off the side of their horse.
That's right.
Header missed.
That's right. Our header missed, so he's going to have to get his loop reorganized here. And this eats up a lot of time while you're trying to get things organized.
Yeah, to get that rope back in is not as easy as it looks either.
That's right.
And of course, then the cow can be very stubborn and you'll steer.
Okay, so here he goes, our header. And I don't think that's going to take, no. So no time for this team.
I think Elda's got a special guest down there. Elda?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I got Joe Gilbert here. He's one of the cutters. How many years have you been involved in the rodeo?
4 years.
And what, are you just a cutter, or are you getting involved other ways?
I'm only in cutting now, but I'm hoping to go into roping next year as well.
And you live in downtown Langley, I hear?
No, not downtown. I live right by Campbell Valley Park.
And you enjoy this sport?
Oh yeah, I love it.
How many years have you been coming out to this one? Is this the only one you attend?
This is the, I started cutting 4 years ago, joined the club 4 years ago, and been involved ever since.
Is this the only event that you attend, or do you travel around and go to different events?
Oh no, we go to different events.
Okay, I'll let you get back to watching the team roping. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Elda and Grandpa, as we were talking earlier on. Yeah, we watched the header on this one. Missed the first one. Now, it's very instrumental that when you rewind your rope, you've got to do it very, very quick.
That's right, because the whole time that you're re-looping here, you're eating up time. The clock keeps running.
Okay, what's the time frame from the time they start till the time they have? I mean, could they, we'll say, conceivably take 4 or 5 minutes to do this?
No, they would be flagged out if they took that long. Okay, so now our header's caught.
Header's caught.
And our heeler's caught. Single hop. So that's going to be +5. Their time +5.
Well, the only one we've seen catch both right now is father and son, Randy and Keith Rogers. Maybe distant cousins to Roy. We don't really know up here in our booth yet.
Time for Scott and Clayton at 37.23 +5, making it 42.2.
Yeah,
and again, as they pull, the rope cinches up.
That's right. You see that heeler reaching down there, throwing that loop.
Legacy Quarter Horses team, Tim Capaduca, Gordon Brooks in the hole, and Cedar Springs Ranch team, Alec McDonald.
Timing is of everything out here for these people. They want this one quick.
Okay, our header's caught. Now it's up to the heeler. Nope.
Nope, got to do it again real quick. Now while they're waiting and getting the rope ready again, we see a gentleman in the ring right now. He's got the red flag.
That's right.
Explain to our viewers what that's for.
If there's any penalties, I believe that's Gene Spogi. He'll throw that flag down, and as soon as that heeler has caught, Gene will flag, and the timer will stop the clock, and that's how they know how much time. See?
Oh, the heeler missed.
Well, I think he got one hop,
didn't look like,
so it's going to be a +5.
I think I heard him say 5, but it didn't look.
Time for Darcy and Karen at 36.45 +5, making it 41.45.
41.45.
Now, did these two come out before the other one was finished, or what? Because these ones seem to come out so fast.
Yeah, this team just rode out.
Cedar Springs Ranch team of Alec McDonald, Julie Bell.
They just got fed up with waiting, or what?
I think maybe. They're just reloading the chute. I think they're having a little trouble getting one of the steers into the chute here.
Now, who controls the actual release? The young lady that's sitting on the top?
Yep, there's a young girl sitting up top there. And
is it a foot release or a hand
release?
There's
just a handle up top, and she just pushes that, and the chute opens.
Oh, I see the handle. You can see the handle from our camera. Good camera work right there.
Yeah.
And you can see the handle. Just over
there. Yeah,
there.
Right
she
there.
puts her hand on it. See, all we have to do is ask, and
That's
they'll accommodate us.
And she just watches the header, and when the header nods, she opens
down
the
it
chute.
goes.
Sometimes these horses, they get very excited, and they don't like to stay in the chute there for very long. That's why you'll see them, if something's not right and they don't have a steer in the chute, rather than keeping your horse in there and having your horse get upset, they'll let the horse come out and move around a little bit, then go back into the chute.
That's right. Well, speaking of keeping people waiting, we don't want to keep Elda waiting. Sugar Madame. Elda?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm here with John Sarek. He's one of the cutters. And how long have you been involved in this event?
Just 2 months now. We just bought a horse 2 months ago, and we've been training for 2 months.
And how did you feel about your ride today?
Well, it's great. I felt great. Came in 4th out of 15. Pulled a 70 and made a couple of small errors, but next time we'll do better.
I hear your wife's involved in this too.
She's involved too. She's got her own cutting horse, and it came up lame, but it's better, so she'll be cutting in the next event.
Oh, that's good. Are you involved in anything else other than the cutting?
We did do penning last year. And all last year.
And you prefer the cutting over the penning?
We prefer the cutting. It's a little bit more exciting for us, but the penners will disagree with that and say that it's better for them, but we like the cutting.
Yeah, it all depends on which sport you're involved in yourself, I guess.
Yeah. And we like the action of the horse. The horse really has to do a lot in cutting.
So do you have future aspects of staying in this event for a long time?
We'll stay in, yeah. For the near future, we're hooked.
That's good to hear.
Yes.
Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Elda. By hook and by crook. Yeah, it's a good sport, and as you were saying earlier on, there different people want to do different sports. Some want to do the cutting, some want to do the pinning, and you know, to each their own, I guess, Wendy.
That's right. That's right.
Now here's the last one. Now we'll have to take a real close look at this, because it didn't look like they had the heeler had a good shot. Turning it on the 45, as you were saying earlier on.
Yeah. And there we got into a little bit of trouble. And actually our header lost her rope.
Ah.
Okay.
There comes the second rope coming in. Now they're setting up the chute down there, so they're getting ready to go. And you can watch when he nods, they'll release the animal. And they have to take their time and get themselves all poised. Give the nod, and out comes the animal. Way to go. Quick start.
Whoops.
Oh, now that was different.
That loop slipped all the way down.
It did. It slipped all the way off the little steer. Round the head, down the feet,
Yeah.
over the back, and out the bottom part of it. Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. And that's,
No.
In fact, I didn't even see that happen in the last few years I've watched covered in Cloverdale.
Okay, here we go for another
Try
shot,
again.
and he missed.
Not too pleased. Not
So
pleased at
no
all.
time for this team.
Well, that's got to be frustrating when you get yourself all, never mind
It is.
mentally prepared, psychologically prepared to go out and do a good job, and you go out and the steer completely fools you.
Yes, that's right.
And then you steer it out to the end. Okay, now we'll watch this. Watch this again, Wendy.
Look at that loop.
Right off.
Yep. It slipped all the way down. He could have double hawked him there if he wanted to.
Yeah, and then there's a situation where the header and the heeler could have reversed places.
There you go.
I mean, wouldn't that be ironic? I guess they'd probably lose points or get
Yeah,
extra points for
yeah,
such a
that's
good
not
move.
allowed. That's
and then
not
they'd come
allowed.
out. Then they'd come out and say, "We planned that.
That's
we
right.
planned that, right?"
Okay, this
do
is
this
Alex McDonald. Alex is another long-time roper. Single hawk.
5. Hang in there, teammate. Well, that's okay.
Yes.
Notice some of the riders come out of the chute and they start an awful lot more aggressive than some of the other ones. Now watch, quick, real fast release.
+5, making a 15.08. Way to go, guys. Fraser Valley Auctions team of Neil Main and Marty Ross are up now. Yokohama Tires team, Dave Reinhardt and Frank Principe, get ready.
Frank Principe, one of our ropers here today, is a silversmith. He makes buckles and bits and spurs, and very, very talented.
Have to talk to that man later on. Going out. You get him?
Okay, our header's caught, and our heeler missed.
Heeler missed. That's okay. The heeler will try again. Get it set up. I'm amazed by these horns that they put on the animals. It looks so out of place.
So once our heeler is organized here, the header will get that cow moving again.
They have to because they don't want it stable.
That's right.
Need a little bit of movement out there for the animal.
Single hawk.
They got 1. 5. They got 1. Wasn't what they were going for. But,
No, but it's better than a no time.
Yeah, that's true.
I heard that poaching down there.
Now we'll watch this one
Neil
again.
and Marty, a 44.28 +5, making it a 49.28. Yokohama Tires team of Dave Reinhardt, Frank Principe are up now, and then we'll bring cattle back.
Now as they're doing this, just waiting.
That steer almost just stepped right into that loop, didn't he?
Yeah. Was nice of him.
So this is Frank Principe.
I think Elda's downstairs while we're waiting for the next cowboy. Elda?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm here with Jack. And Jack, where are you in from?
We're in from St. Albert, Alberta, just north of Edmonton.
And what brings you to this event?
Well, I've got friends that are roping here today, and I'm involved in the cattle industry back in Alberta. Love horses, and roping's a big deal back at home, so we're coming to see how they're doing it here in BC.
And do you have family involved in this?
I'm not involved in this. We're involved in the purebred cattle industry. But back at home, I've got a brother-in-law who does this for a living.
Right, and does he go to like the Calgary Stampede and stuff like that?
Well, he does more of the amateur rodeos at home, but him and an associate run 10,000 head of cattle, and they're all vaccinated, and all the medications are done through roping. They don't chase them into corrals. They do them all heading and heeling out in the 10,000 acre fields.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Jack.
Oh,
and back to you, Steve.
Glad to be here.
Thanks, Ella. Now, I gather when they're talking about some of the smaller rodeos, are they talking about
Time for
rodeos
Dave
like
and Frank
possibly
at
Tanoka?
2091 +5.
Well, yeah,
making it
and I mean every
25.91.
weekend
We're
in
gonna bring the
BC
cattle
there's
back
a
before we
rodeo
run this
going on.
exercise.
The BCRA, British Columbia Rodeo Association. This weekend there was a rodeo up in Quesnel. So next weekend there's one in Coombs.
On Vancouver Island,
Yes.
for anyone that's not sure where Coombs is located. Beautiful little town over there. Nice place to go visit. But now, Are we waiting right now for them to send some more cattle
Yes,
in, or
what they're
are we
going to do
waiting?
now is run the cattle from that end of the arena
So
back down to this end.
the used cattle that we've already gone through,
They'll
have
run
to
them through again.
run them through again, and they'll start all over.
That's right.
Oh, okay. So it just gives them a little bit of a chance to move them from one end to the other. Now, so far we've only seen one team, and that was Randy and Keith Rogers, father and son, or pardon me, son and father, in that order, that have had a real good score.
That's right, yeah.
Now they're going to bring the cattle back. They're taking their time. Do they have to redress the arena at all, or do they, for this event, or are they going to leave it like this right now?
Yeah, I think they'll leave it this way. I don't think they're going to harrow it again.
Well, they're thinking about taking the cattle from one end to the other, and while they're doing that, we're going to take a quick timeout and come more from the Langley Riders Arena right after this timeout.
You're watching Rogers Community 4, serving Surrey, Langley, and New Westminster.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 1996 annual Team Cowboy Olympics. We're having a lot of fun out here in Langley today. I'm Steve Erickson with Wendy Hendrickson, and Wendy, it's a lot of fun to bring this event to everyone. Now, we're still in the roping category, so we'll see how this section transpires.
Okay, our header just threw his loop, and he missed.
We've had a lot that have missed so far, and again, timing is very, very instrumental for this. They have to practice. They go down. We were watching them earlier on before the event got underway, and they were practicing.
That's right. It does take a lot of practice.
Now, we see they've got the rope around the neck of the steer now.
Yep. And our healer just
no time for Greg and Jerry.
His second throw and missed. So
no good.
No time.
Done like dinner right there. So they'll release that one, and we'll get set for the next couple to get started. And they take their time, and as you were saying, they come from all over to partake in this event here. Now, here's a look. Watch. We'll take a look at this one. Is this the one where he missed?
And this is our header throwing.
Yeah, just a quick miss. Very important when these guys do this to watch the wrist action. Now, this was a different start to this one for the header.
Oops, and he lost his rope.
Yeah, that was a different start because when he coming out of the chute back there, he didn't have the rope completely over top of his head. He had it off to the side.
I guess, yeah, and a lot of these ropers, that's his comfort spot, so...
It must be, because that's the first rider we've seen ride like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting
You'll notice, too, that some of these ropers throw the rope with their left hand and some throw the rope with their right hand.
Now, in this case, if you throw the rope with your right hand, you would think it would be better for you because you're closer to the animal.
Right, yeah.
And if you're throwing it with your left hand and the animal's on your right side, you've got to cross your body to make the connection.
That's right.
And we've got another steer in the chute getting set. Just waiting. There's the nod. There's the release. They're out.
And there's our header.
And the header, does he get it?
He's caught.
Yes, he did. He caught him. Now pulls him on the 45. Now the healer, it's his turn. Get him?
I think he single hawked him, yep. So that's plus
single
5.
one, that's plus 5. Good one, but we've still only seen one where we've had the double.
That's right. Looks like Keith and Randy might be taking home some money today.
Oh, they'd like that.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd turn it down and say, no, we'll pass on that one.
That's right. Now
Time
Keith's
for
out
Dave
there
and
swinging
Dave
his
at
rope, so they
15,
might be
13
getting ready to go again.
20.13.
There.
Fraser Highway Brewery team of Cliff Corey and Clayton Fremantle
That's where
are
the
up now.
rope just
Cambridge Insurance
so
team
easily
of Frank
slides
Schultz
over
and Cheryl
top.
Green
The header
on
does his
deck.
job.
Sunrise Trailers team Dale Burke and Cam Shrigley in the hole, and the Saddle Shop team of Randy Rogers and Keith Rogers get ready.
And the healer only caught one, so that's good enough for a few more marks, but not quite what they would like. There's the nod, there's the release. Quick start, and they lean.
Oh, our header missed, so
missed him. Now it's important for this because when they miss, the healer has to take his time. He just can't carry right on. He's almost got to it's like he's losing momentum.
Right.
Because he has to back right off and wait till the header gets set again.
That's right. And our header missed again. So in no time, steer goes out.
They didn't want to ride like that. That was something that they did not want to have happen.
No time for Cliff and Clayton. They came with the Sherry's team of Frank Schultz and
Yeah, that's frustrating when you you know, you go through all that work and you don't get any marks for it.
That's right. But that happens in every sport.
Yes, it sure does. And I see over on the far side, they've got a tent. They're selling a whole pile of souvenirs for this event.
Okay, so here's our hitter, and he's going to throw.
Couldn't hold on.
And coming out of the chute now is Frank Schultz and
the
Cheryl
header missed
Green.
Again. Header's got to get set. And it's important to get your rope wound up in the proper way.
That's right.
Otherwise, you end up getting a knot in the rope or tangled the wrong way. That would be not work in your favor. Are these ropes braided?
Yeah, there's all different kinds of ropes. Some of the ropers like the thicker and the heavier ropes. Some of them like the real soft rope. There's 2 different ropes. There's ropes for heading, and then there's ropes for heeling.
Well, maybe we'll have to see if Elda can find us a couple of different types of rope and show us the actual difference between the 2 types of ropes that they have out there. If they have, as you were saying, 2 different types of ropes. Now, here's where he misses again on the second one. Tough goal, but they don't have to feel bad, because if they can miss here, hey, we see them missing Calgary at the Stampede, and they've done that on a regular basis back there in the last little while. Now they go in, they have to turn their horse around to get themselves set. And you notice they don't start out of the chute for the horse pretty well straight. They start the horse on an angle.
That's right. Oh, look at that. That loop went right over the steer again.
Now, that's twice we've seen that happen for that. Now, why? We were talking about why they start them on the angle. What's the reason for starting
that way?
on an
Because
angle
when they're in the chute, the horse has got a view of the chute and can zero in on that cow as soon as the chute opens.
There was a second try. Miss 2 out of 3. Elda, are you downstairs? We're ready for you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm here with Beckett Leslie, and you're volunteering in a different source. You're not involved in the rodeo. What is your input here?
No, we're from Fraser Highway Brewmasters, and we're just sponsoring one of the teams this year for the rodeo.
And you ride, or you did ride, but you weren't riding Western. You were riding English.
No, I was an English rider for many years, but no, I'd never done any Western.
Did you not do barrel racing?
Yeah, we did barrel racing for fun, but it was never a big competition or anything like that.
And how many years have you guys been sponsoring teams with this organization?
Well, we did it 3 years ago, and then this would be our 2nd year. So just twice now, and we'll probably end up doing it again next year, I'm sure.
And you're one of the official spokespersons for this company?
Yes, yeah, I am.
And whereabouts is this company located?
We're at 203rd and Fraser Highway, right across from Dairy Queen on the Fraser Highway.
Great, thanks a lot, Beckett. Back to you, Steve, thanks.
Thanks, Elda. Get a business card. Wendy and I are getting thirsty upstairs.
Look at that. Keith and Randy just caught.
That's twice.
Oh. I think maybe Keith lost.
Oh.
He had him double hop.
That foolish little steer stepped right out of that.
Yeah, he lost. That steer just kind of jumped out of his loop.
That's too bad.
Yeah, that was fast, and he had him double hop.
Because they were real
Got
quick.
him again.
Double again. Hey, simple. Make it look so simple, don't they?
That's right. I guess that's why they win it all.
I wonder if you're out there and in a situation like this, where you get Randy, the son, come out and, I wonder whether he says, come on, do your job, or whether he says, come on, Dad, let's go.
That's right.
Okay, now watch this. This is the first one. Randy comes down.
Throws that loop, bang, fast.
Real quick. Now, up comes Dad. Says, I'll show you how to do it, son. Just like this. Timing, 1, 2, 3.
See?
Got him, but
had him, and the steer jumped out.
Yeah, tough one.
Yeah. Actually, Keith Rogers, he is a BCRA judge. He judges a lot of the rodeos all across BC.
So he's a very, very busy young man.
That's right.
Well, at least he's involved in different aspects of the sport, too.
And that's a catch.
Header's done his job. Turn him on the 45. Try and get him.
Boom. Got
Get
him. Double hop.
Yeah, double one. Good one. Now, you've got to be pleased when you see that because we don't see a lot of those.
That was a good time, too.
Fast.
Yeah, that was really good.
We'll have to see what their timing was. Now, here's a replay. Good one, quick turn. Not only does
Robin Dawn, a 13.24 plus 5, making an 18.24.
Oh, plus 5.
The Sharp Imaging team of Scott Gordon and Clayton Fremantle
what would the
are
plus
up.
5
Preston
be for?
Chevel's team, Darcy Campbell, Karen Jansen on deck. EDS Pumps team, Terry
I
McEachern, Bob
think maybe Marnie was talking about a different team.
Okay.
This team definitely double hopped.
Okay, next one's out of the chute. Quick one, the header's got his.
He's having trouble getting dallied, though. He hasn't dallied up yet.
And it's difficult when the steer goes to the outside of the ring.
Oh, now he's got his leg caught over the rope. That's not good. Having a little bit of trouble there. Oh, he lost his rope.
No, I saw the gentleman on the horse just waving the flag, basically indicating no time.
Yeah.
EDS Pumps team of Terry McEachern, Bob Carswell on deck. The Legacy Quarter Horses
see
team,
here.
Tim Capaduca, Gord Brooks in the hole, and Cedar Springs Ranch team, Alec
He had a little bit of trouble with that rope. Once he went to dally, somehow or other, that rope got underneath his leg.
Well, again, when the steer runs to the outside of the ring, it's really difficult for
Yeah,
the healer to do
it kind of
anything.
slows things down.
There's the nod, there's the release.
Wow.
Oh, right around the midsection. They didn't want that. Now, will that be good or bad? It's obviously can't count.
That's, they won't let them do that.
Now, what's the status here? Because they've got to get the rope off.
Well, I think the header's going to try and let that rope come off so he can
do it again.
Throw again. There he goes.
There, they got the rope off, so they're going to try it again.
That's right. This is a quick steer. There, he's caught him.
That's
In
what they
comes the
wanted.
healer. And
single one?
Yep.
Yep, single one. And of course, timing for the healer is very important too.
Exactly.
Some of them, if the steer slows down and the healer gets too close to him, that's going to throw you off.
Yep.
Time for Darcy and Karen.
what's this one?
49.59 plus 5, making it 54.59.
There was a
and they
second
have two
grab
head
right
caught.
there by the header.
The EDS
Now watch the run and watch the healer coming up.
Carswell are up. Legacy Quarter Horses team.
Timing, he's rather close in this one. Leans and throws it and only gets one. Enough to get a couple of points, but
Yeah.
not enough to put you in the winners category for that one.
So here's our next team in the chute.
Another quick steer.
Okay. And our header missed, so she's going to take another throw at it here.
That was difficult because as they were going over towards the corner, the other two previous riders were still in the corner.
Yeah.
A bit of confusion there for everybody.
Okay, so a no
just
time.
Let her go. I'm not going to chase that animal no more. Okay, they're going to get another steer, and we're going to come back right after this timeout.
Picked up there by Dixon. Dixon in the spot. Great save there by the goaltender. Menard, the rebound. Watch this. The big man.
Sean Olsen calling a signal, pitches out to Ryan Cody, gets around the outside, gets the first down, and he's tackled.
And before he takes it away, here's Cody, and he gets it to go! And he'll go to the baby! Unbelievable! Tony
You're watching Rogers Community 4, serving Surrey, Langley, and New Westminster.